Good evening, everyone. This is the City of Dania Beach regular CRA meeting on September the 15th. It is 6 p.m. and I call this meeting to order. City Clerk, if you would please call the roll.
Chair Davis.
Here.
Vice Chair Salvino.
Here.
Board Member Llewellyn.
Here.
Board Member Romali.
Here.
Board Member Ryan.
Here.
Executive Director Candida Sosa Cruz.
Here.
City Attorney Booths.
Here.
Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you so much, City Clerk. At this time, we will have item 2, which is the citizens' comments. Do I have any citizens who would like to speak during the CRA meeting? Seeing none, we will move on to our administrative reports. Director Chen.
Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, and board members. I'll start off with the commercial facade grant program. There's a lot of activity still going on with that. Last time I mentioned to you a property at 24 Northeast First Avenue, which is just to the north of the Celeste. That property, the last time I talked to you, it was nearing conclusion. It has since concluded, and it has actually been billed to us and paid out. So that's a completed project. Also, 250 South Federal Highway, that's better known to you as Gasper Arts. That project has also been completed, billed, and paid out. So that's another completed thing. I spoke with another prospective facade grant at 1104 South Federal Highway. They're looking to do a little spiffing up and maybe some fine tuning to the uses of that property so that they can get better tenants in that. I haven't talked to them since the initial conversation, but they were very interested in the program. I sent them the information, I sent them an application and so forth. And then the last one here is we're about to get a new application. It's another Codner property at 17 South Federal Highway. What's interesting, and this is a dimension of the facade grant that I haven't had a chance to discuss much with you in the past. I'm proud to announce as a direct result of our facade grant, we now have 5 new businesses coming into downtown. The property at 24 Northeast First Avenue, they are getting Aquaman Diving Shop, Heartbreaker Labs. By the way, Heartbreaker Labs, it's a branding consultant program for businesses, for small businesses to do consulting services and establish brands and social media. An H&M Market and Smoke Shop. So that is basically a convenience store in that property right next to the Celeste. The upcoming facade grant, the additional one for Codner, is the building that we just completed with him for the window replacement. He is now getting a Benjamin Moore paint store and Spirit Sellers Inc., which is a liquors distributor's office, and I understand they're actually going to focus on exotic tequilas. Ooh. So there is a direct result. This is how you get businesses that you're looking for in Dania Beach, is find people who have properties that they're willing to be landlords in and work with them to make it ready for the tenants. For our Rebuilding Together home beautification program, we're down to the last 4 houses. In fact, we were going to complete them this last week, and with all the rain, they had to call off the last one. And I have to acknowledge the mayor and Commissioner Romoli actually came to help with start the project. They didn't bother to tell us they had canceled because they had so much rain. But you can't paint houses with anticipating rain.
Did they give a rescheduled date for that?
They're working on that. I've contacted them just today. They haven't arrived at a new schedule yet. The volunteer group for that project specifically is going to be Wells Fargo Bank, so they have to coordinate it with it. In addition to those houses, the last 4 houses of the 40 for this year, they have another 8 houses lined up for when we renew the program. Actually, I'm hoping that what they'll do is that they'll be able to complete the program under the 2025 contract. And I'd very much like to see at our next meeting that I bring a renewal contract to you for another 40 houses. Oops, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. For the Safe at Home program, which is the interior improvements for elderly and aging people, they have completed a total of 22 houses with 6 additional houses in progress, another 6 houses being in line for services, and another 20 houses being qualified for the program. So that is also a very active program. It didn't go quite as fast as our home beautification program because home beautification has been here for a while. They actually have a running list of people that they're talking to, trying to qualify constantly. But once we get a couple of years under the belt of that program, it will also accelerate. Also under economic development, I had told you before about South Florida Community Land Trust, their Blue Sky program to help train financial literacy to their affordable housing tenants. I met with them to start working on how those programs would be developed, the kind of content they would have, because we need to use our partner agencies to help them teach those programs. People like SCORE and CareerSource and so forth, those are the experts in those subjects. But all of those agencies have specific funding that they're attached to. They have to accomplish certain things. They have to do certain things to qualify for their funding. So I'm working with the Land Trust to help them design their program so that these partners can work with them under their existing conditions for funding. It's a little bit tedious, but it is the way to get it done, and it's the way to get expertise at the table. At the patch during July, in fact, some of these are a bit old because this was actually designed to be your presentation for August, and we missed the August meeting. But during July, they harvested over 300 pounds of produce. Again, limited crops because you're in the summertime. The bulk of the weight is coming from coconuts and eggplant. The patch is moving the community garden plots, 16 of the community garden plots that were on the raised tables and the fenced area outside of the main garden. They are moving those into the garden, and they're building the raised beds so that they can be accommodated as well. And I have included some construction pictures for you so you can see that construction is an ongoing process at the patch. The seeds and preparation for the fall growing season have all been ordered. We're gearing up. We want to be able to get into the ground at the very earliest possible once we get a break in the heat. For some of the patch events and activities, the patch is attending the Nova Center for Student Leadership. This is actually a program that's hosted. It's a get to know you program hosted by Nova, where they introduce their student groups and student agencies to nonprofits who are looking for volunteers. So it's basically a job fair for volunteers. And the patch, as a partner of Nova for a number of years, is now invited to be attending those and kind of doing early recruitment of Nova volunteers. That was held on August 29th. So it has already happened, but it is something that you should know about. The patch is putting together a series of home-based business workshops. This is an economic development side of the patch. to where they actually work with small emerging businesses, help them understand how to develop their product and how to take their product to the market. So they actually work with them. They give them lessons on how to develop their products, how to price them, how to develop them. And then once they're qualified on that, those businesses are invited to attend the farmers markets for free to start giving them public exposure and opening their products to the market. So that is a nice economic development side to the patch. They continue to have a lot of volunteer groups in spite of the summer heat. They are recruiting volunteers for Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. The Dan Marino group continues to send 10 to 15 adults every second and fourth Tuesday of every month. And that's my admin report.
Thank you, Director Chin. Do I have any comments or discussion from the board? Seeing none, then we will move on to presentations. Item 4.1 for the budget fiscal year 2026, an overview by CFO Jamie Guzman.
Thank you, Board. Thank you, Chair. Good evening, Board. We're going to go over a brief presentation, high level of the FY 2026 budget for the CRA. We're going to cover a budget comparison from 2025 to 2026. We move on to what CRA proposed budget changes we have. We'll touch on personnel. We'll discuss the patch a tiny bit, and then we'll finalize with the operational assessment that is being conducted by the CRA at this time. A brief comparison from 2025 to 2026 is a slight decrease of $189,000. It's a net change because the CRA is made up of two components. You have your operating CRA, which is your bigger budget, and then you have the patch, which is the smaller budget. Your operating budget went down by $196,000, and your patch went up by $7,000. And we'll go over what those changes look like and why that happened. But the net change of those variables is $189,000. So that's really the change from 2025 to 2026. So what led to that net change? We experienced some savings on our position. We had the business attraction and investment manager. It wasn't filled in 2025, so we reduced the budget by that amount. That was about $86,000. And then there's a line item called economic development initiatives that wasn't also utilized during 2025. We reduced it by 110, hence your 196. And then you have the patch, which had a slight increase of $7,000 to accommodate for the salary changes that are taking effect October 1st. On the personnel side, as you approve this fiscal year, we have the CRA director. We only have the elimination of the business attraction manager, which brought your personnel full-time equivalent from 5 employees to 4 employees. There's no change in the employees from the patch, only on the administrative side, again, the business attraction investment manager. The CRA patch has its own little budget. That didn't change. The only change was the $7,000 increase, again, due to salaries. But everything is the same. We assigned some funding again for the company, the contracting company that's supporting the patch. It's still there. Pretty much all line items continue to operate as usual for the patch. And as you know, the CRA is currently going through an operational assessment overall. RMA is partnered with the city to analyze the operation initiatives of the CRA, and we'll come back to you, or executive director will come back to you with that assessment, and from there you can make further adjustments to your budget at that point in time. Whether you'd like to adjust, increase, the amendment will be up to the board to direct that based on the recommendations from the CRA director, executive director. And that's pretty much it. Any questions?
I just have one question quickly, because I do see that we saved that amount, over $86,000 for the loss of the business attraction and development manager. We did have a dynamic one, and it did seem that that position was worthwhile as long as we had, somebody who's qualified for that position. So I just wanted to discuss with the board and see whether or not that we would be looking to replace that position in the future.
Yes, Mayor, Chair. The position in which you're referencing, the Business Attraction Investment Manager, which I believe you're referencing the Economic Development Manager.
Okay.
We did not remove the Economic Development Manager position, which Crystal
Yes.
filled it. That's still the same.
Okay.
What we removed was a new position that was added at last year's budget, but was never filled.
Okay.
And that is the Business Attraction Investment Manager. So the Economic Development Manager position is still in the budget, along with all the other positions. Since 12 months went by and was never filled, we just removed it at this time until the operational assessment by RMA is completed, gets presented to you, we discuss it, see how we want to move forward, and then afterwards we could decide what to implement in the budget, what to remove, and fine tune it. But until that assessment is submitted, we wanted to keep the budget at the same or a little bit leaner, again, due to positions that were not filled and monies that were not used in 12 months period.
Okay. Thank you so much for that clarification.
And our goal is for the report to be presented to the board at the next month's meeting. That's what we're shooting for, depending if they get completed by the cutoff date of the agenda. But we are shooting for the October CRA meeting for the RMA to present to the board.
That was my other question. You always know ahead of me. So, all right. Any other comments? Hold on. Board Member Llewellyn.
Yes, I was actually going to say, I really want to wait and see what RMA has to say, but we also have the potential, if there is something that needs to be adjusted, we could do like a mid-year adjustment or something like that.
Absolutely. We discussed that with our CFO. As soon as the RMA presents the assessment to the board decides how it wants to move forward. We will then ensure that that decision is also funded at any time.
And I was also going to say, it sounds like Mr. Chen actually did a nice job of speaking to some landlords about bringing in some new businesses as well, so that was also helpful.
And I know from this, in discussions with RMA, they've been discussing with many of our current landowners and investors in the city to see how they would like it, what vision, and how to make it happen along Federal and First Ave. So we're definitely making progress behind the scenes, and we're very excited to present at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions from the board? All right, then we will move on. Thank you so much, Jamie. Excellent presentation. We will move on to the consent agenda. Are there any items that the board wishes to pull from the consent agenda? Board Member Llewellyn?
No items to pull. I was going to make a motion to approve.
I have a motion from Board Member Llewellyn. Do I have a second? Board Member Ryan?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. The consent agenda passes unanimously. We will move on to proposals and bids. There are none. And then we have item 7, discussion and possible action. Eve, if you would please read item 7.1.
Yes, Mayor. A resolution of the Board of Directors of the CRA of the City of Dania Beach adopting the final estimates of revenue and expenditures for the fiscal year commencing on October 1st, 2025 and ending on September 30th, 2026. Appropriating funds as may be needed or deemed necessary to defray expenditures and liabilities of the CRA for the fiscal year, provided for conflicts and an effective date. This is a finance item.
Thank you, City Attorney Bootsis. And do I have a motion for item 7.1? Board Member Ryan?
Motion to approve item 7.1.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Board Member Llewellyn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, item 7.1 passes unanimously. We have no information items, and so we are on to board member comments. And first up, we have Board Member Llewellyn.
I will defer my comments till the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Llewellyn. Next, we have Board Member Ramoli.
I have no comments, thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Ramoli. We have Board Member Ryan.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I know this seemed like a very smooth meeting, but we actually went over a lot of information and we passed the budget. So congratulations to everyone. Thank you for the presentation, Director Chen. It's great seeing more of these facade grants go up, and it's really being noticed throughout the town, and it's making a big difference. And when it comes to rebuilding Broward, I know I think we were at like 20 last year, and then we bumped it to 40. I would like the board to consider increasing that number for our next meeting to improve, the budget for rebuilding Broward, because they do an awesome job, and they have the capacity to be able to take on a larger load. So I'll leave you with that for the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Ryan. Vice Chair Salvino.
I have no comments.
Thank you, Vice Chair, and I will echo Board Member Ryan's comments in that I'm very excited, Director Chen, to have 5 new businesses coming to the city. Thank you and great job on that. I always love to work with rebuilding together, so anything that we can do together to improve our community, if we can expand that, increase that, I think that's a great thing to be able to do. So thank you, Executive Director Sosa Cruz and Board. We are adjourned.